All right, it is 6:30. This is the Land Use Committee meeting, and we are on Zoom, and I'm going to do the call to order and the roll call. So roll call will be Molly. Present. Trish, present. Gary.
Present.
Jim.
Here.
Becky.
Here.
Jacob.
Present.
Larry. Nope. I'll put a question mark.
Do you want me to text him?
Sure, that'd be great.
Okay.
Just in case he got busy too.
Yeah.
Chairperson announcements is I just want to let everybody know that I'm stepping down from LOCAC in May. So Jim has been very nice, and he's going to take over the co-chair and help Molly through the land use meetings in the future.
Oh, good.
Are there any council member announcements?
Oops.
Okay, are there any public comments for items not on the agenda? No. All right, so let's go ahead with our first agenda item, which is the Knight project. And I see that Trisha Knight is here, and I'm going to unmute you and see if you can kind of walk us through your project. Okay, I'll ask.
I tried to unmute her. Let's see.
Trisha.
Oh,
There you
can
go.
you hear?
Yeah.
Hello, testing. Good evening,
Hi.
everybody.
Hello.
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 Could you walk us through your project a bit?
Absolutely. Let me just open up my plans here real quick, and then I'll share my screen. Okay, 1 second. There we go. Well, I'm extremely excited to potentially become a neighbor in Los Osos. I've lived in Shell Beach my majority of my life, and was able to purchase this land recently. So anyway, I'm very excited. I'll go ahead and share my screen here. Looking to be a small residence. I'm 1,197 square feet with a 2-car garage, comprised of about 500 square feet. Here's Del Norte here over by the golf course. General footprint of here's the garage here, and then the residence with a deck that wraps around the back, and a small front porch. A little bit closer view here, got some living room, 2 bedrooms, 2 baths, small office. And then I'll have a staggered garage rooftop. I have a travel van, and so on one side will be my travel van, slightly taller roof of about 9 feet. And then the secondary roof will be about 7 feet, and that will have a rooftop deck.
Okay.
So here's the elevations.
Very cute house.
Thank you. Very excited. Kaiser did a really amazing job. I hooked up with them right away, and they've just been really helpful and lovely to work with. And then some colors. I'm still playing around with the colors a little bit. This was more of a Hawaiian style almost a little bit. I have a house that I was visiting in Hawaii actually that I modeled after this with the darker colors with it, and this will actually be a wooden doors, and then this privacy screen here. I'm doing all dry scape, no lawns of any kind, very little landscaping, maybe some trees, but everything dry scaped and very low water use, solar panels. Doing some solar lights in the home. But yeah, very simple. The overall goal is just to be my forever home and pass this down generationally. So that's it in a nutshell. I'm here to answer any questions.
Okay. Are there any questions from council?
I don't have any questions, but I did go over and look at the site, and I reviewed the plans, and looks like a nice project that'll fit well into the neighborhood.
Yeah, Molly and I did kind of walk the neighborhood. We talked to some of your future neighbors, and they were just all excited about the project, and that it was not going to block their views, and they were very happy.
Yeah, I worked with them right at the beginning. I went and knocked on doors and made sure that everyone knew I was coming, and talked about garage placement and all that kind of thing. So yeah, they're great. I'm looking forward to having them as real neighbors soon.
Any other questions, concerns from council?
None
I
from
just have
me.
sorry, I just have a quick question for Tricia. So, this is the new building time now in Los Osos. And one of the things that we don't know is, do you know where you are on the build list?
I am. That was one of the big things about buying this property is I'm number 25 of about 350, as you all know.
Ye-
So that was
Right. Yeah.
huge.
So about 25. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
and so they released the first 12, and I think it'll probably be next year or at the very beginning of 2027, if I had to guess, with respect to my permit. So I wanted to get the minor use permit part getting ready to go. So when they call my construction number, I'll be ready to go.
right. And that's what we're learning, that we'll be reviewing projects that may not be built for 3 to 4 years. So,
Yeah. And then working with Sunset Terrace Water in the same way as
Right.
well. No, they're giving me my will serve letter, but they're going to have to actually serve me for probably 2 years.
yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Larry, you have your hand up. Larry?
Larry's on mute.
Oh, I'm going to ask you to unmute.
Oh, there he is.
There he is. Larry, we've asked you to unmute. Is your hand's up? Thank you.
Yeah, the dogs wanted to go outside, so
I understand.
there's a little priority here.
Yeah.
Trish, or Mrs. Knight. Anyway, my question is, or do we want to go public with this, and that we're starting to, after so many years, we're starting to accept projects for building, like this is the first one. I think it's, important that we let the community know that we're doing this. Am I making any sense, or?
Well,
No, you are. Go ahead. Sorry.
you are making sense, but from talking with the planning department, we are going to be seeing all of these, and we have asked about numbers on these already, and we've gotten the response. So, that's kind of the way that we're going to do it. These are going to come through to land use, whether they're built, in 6 months or 5 years. But they're going to come through. We're going to approve them. We're going to ask the questions now so that when they are ready to build, they've already done their homework and are ready.
I'm not questioning that. That I'm not questioning. I know why it's happening and they're doing it and everything else. My question is, do we let the public know that we're, as LOCAC, that we're starting to accept these?
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
Because
So
for me, it's been
what
a
would
question.
that look like, Larry?
Huh?
What would that look like, letting the public know? What are you thinking?
A public statement, to the newspapers.
Like something on our website, or an article in the Estero Bay News or the Tribune, or what?
All of that,
All of that. Okay.
I just
agree.
to keep us above board and open and public, and Sam Kreiser, I know you're listening, but you understand where we're coming from. We represent the community.
Mm-hmm.
We have to represent what's going on in the community. Not whether we like it or not, but what's going on. That we're accepting, that there are things projects being accepted to be built, after a 30-year moratorium,
Larry,
and that at least the public needs to know this so that they can come join us and see these projects and put their input into the projects. You
I
know?
think that's a good question, but I think, I'm not sure we need to engage the applicant specifically for
No,
this
no,
project
no,
with
that's
this
why
subject.
I told Sam and I tried to explain to her, it has nothing to do with them or their projects.
Right, right.
Us as a,
So Larry, let's deal with this under business items, okay?
sure, fine, thank
Okay.
you, okay.
Because
From-
I think that's where it really needs to go. Right now, we'll hear Sam and then we need a motion. Okay,
Okay,
Sam?
So
you just
sorry,
have-
I was late a moment. I was on the other meeting agenda, but glad to hear Trisha presented the project and that all things look good to you guys. And to address kind of what Larry's saying is, it sounds like you wish that we would have publicized this meeting more so that more people could weigh in. It's a completely open for anyone can join, anyone can comment. Those that are invested and care deeply about this have full free reign to talk right now. So I don't see how, I mean, I would love an article in the paper saying that you've approved one. That sounds great. And I'd be happy to give whatever we need to do to help that. But the idea that this isn't publicized enough, I think, is not quite accurate, because our entire community has been worried about this for many, many years, and it's a very hot topic. So
And,
yeah,
and we had an entire town hall on it, so.
yes, yes.
We
Yeah,
did,
but
but you know, it would be nice to have, used to have supposedly someone that was supposed to be putting this out, but it'd be nice to see it on Nextdoor, on
Okay,
Facebook.
let's bring this
remind
back to business items. Let's
Right,
do a
I'm just-
motion on this project now.
Okay, I'm
So that
responding to
Tricia
Sam
can-
though, that, you know, people don't go to the website. So anyway, but
We'll
back to
talk
the
about that
project.
later. So can I have a motion on this project, please?
Yeah, I'll make the motion that we move this to the consent agenda on the next LOCAC meeting.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I'll
I'll
second it.
Okay, Jacob, second. All in favor, raise your hand. Any opposed?
May I ask a quick question? So
Uh,
Jacob works for Kreiser,
No,
not anymore?
never.
Okay, I thought I remembered you being with Kreiser before. So that was my
No.
question.
Okay, so no one is against this project, correct? Okay,
Correct.
so this passes unanimously. Trisha, thank you so much for being on tonight.
Thank you for your time, everybody.
Thank
you.
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 Okay, so our next project is Lon and Jack Moskovich.
Jackie,
Jackie, is it Jackie? Okay. Are you GB?
I will
or
be,
Linda?
I'll be presenting that.
You'll be presenting. Okay, Sam, thank you. Can you walk us through the project?
Surely. Let's see here. So the Moskowitz residence is on 1365 Pasadena, down by the bay. It's a 2,300 square foot, 2321 to be specific, residence with an attached 2-car garage. Garage is 621 square feet. This is well, let's go to the site plan. Here's the lot. It's kind of a flag-shaped lot. The bay is over here to the left side. Pasadena Drive on your right.
You did not share the screen.
Oh, whoops a daisy.
Whoops it. So,
Sorry
I mean,
about
your
that.
talking was great and
Yeah.
I have it printed off, but for the rest of
Okay.
the folks,
It's nice to have this screen up
Yep.
on the screen.
thank you
Now
so
you can
much.
see it. Now you can see it.
Yeah.
Excellent. As you can see over here on the left is Morro Bay, and on the right is Pasadena Drive. If you see it, the building area is on the right side of the lot, closer to the existing roadway. Site plan kind of details out where things are placed and relative to our environmental survey. This is the yellow denotes the wetland survey, and blue is a 50-foot setback from the wetland. All of our disturbance and building takes place behind that. And let's go into the house a little bit. It's a single-story residence, kind of nice open dining kitchen area, living, little covered entryway, French doors into the entry, 2-car garage, a nice little study, a pantry, laundry kind of pass through entrance through to the garage. Nice master suite with a walk-in closet, shower and tub, nice corner windows to get that nice bay view, and then 2 smaller guest bedrooms, a guest bathroom, and a powder room. There's a panoramic door system that will go on the bay side to allow them to kind of open that up and get that beautiful bayfront view. It's a single-story, low-slope roof that really kind of keeps it pretty low. It looks like we've got some elements of a standing seam metal roof, and some section of TPO or membraned low-slope roofing. Some solar tubes in the roof system. And then here's the color board. It's a stucco exterior and a dark bronze standing seam metal roof. Colors got a nice kind of green and a muted sage for the fascia and stucco colors. As you can see, it's single story, laid out, kind of spread out a little bit. Those are your elevations. And then I don't think you guys need to know about can light placement and electrical layouts.
No.
If you look at the elevations, total building height is calculated 14 feet off of average natural grade. And we are about a foot below that. And yeah, that's the gist of it. For those of you who do or do not know, the Moskowitzes have lived in our community for many years and are strong participants. They live in the neighborhood and are looking forward to potentially building this home on the beautiful lot on the Bayside. I can't recall exactly how long they've been waiting, but as with many of the others that you guys will be talking to, a lot of them have had these lots for many, many years. I think that's it. And what questions you got?
Okay, I think I've got just a couple. The first one is, do you know what number this one is? Is it number 8? Okay.
Number 3.
Number 3.
Oh, wow.
You know what?
Great.
I'm going to unmute you.
I'll unmute.
There you
I'll do
go.
it.
Yeah, Lon and Jackie know that. I don't know that answer off the top of my head.
Number 3, that's amazing.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Hi.
We've been here since 1997, and we raised 4 kids here, and we have 3 grandkids, and it's our community, and we actually live directly across the street. From the property. We've used the property as our front lawn and our picnic area.
Oh, perfect.
And we've worked with the Kreisers before, and they share our concerns about keeping our community beautiful and working within the rules and regulations.
Okay.
So we're here for questions on our family. Yeah.
When I reviewed your application, there was not a will serve letter. Is that something that you're working on at this time?
Currently
Is that-
underway.
Is that the water?
The water.
The water credits.
We're
Mhm.
working on that. We have about 190 out of the 256.
Oh, you're so close. Okay.
Yet we are. We're in this week. We're scheduled to get some more.
Okay. Thank you. And then my last question is, I thought it was a 75-foot setback for wetlands? Is it just 50?
We have a licensed biologist that's currently conducting a full study, but if you refer to the sheet, I'll reshare my screen here. There we copied and pasted table 7.4 from the Los Osos plan. I don't remember the exact name of it.
Yeah.
But you can see track 40 along Pasadena Drive. It says 75 may be adjusted to no less than 50.
Okay.
And then you can cite that ordinance to find more details.
Okay, thank you. Those were my questions. Any other questions from council? I see Larry's hand up.
Yeah, just curious. Because I was just looking at the community plan for parking on Second Street, which everyone saw the thing that I saw them.
Yep.
And somewhere in there, I saw the setback is supposed to be 75 feet. I know they made an exception for the hotel there, the Back Bay Inn, and gave it 50 feet. But I thought anything along the ocean front there on Pasadena and going around the corner and stuff is supposed to be 75 feet. Can you address that
You
question?
just did.
You just did.
Yeah,
You just
we have a
did.
licensed
sorry.
biologist. Yeah, we have a licensed biologist that's conducting a study that will either certify our proposed 50-foot setback, or potentially, yes, it would default to that 75. But from everything that we know at this time, 50 feet is going to be plenty to preserve the wetland setback and not pose any.
There's not a question of wetland setback or anything else. There's a question of the community plan that states.
And on the community plan, as I showed on that was copied and pasted from that, it says 75 with right below it may be adjusted to, but no less than 50. So that means that there is room to adjust that from 75.
Okay. So going on with that. The next thing I have, because I know the waterfront part of the property is degrading. It's as you know, as we have sea level rise and tsunami, and there's a bunch of other things besides for the wetlands. I question because I don't know if everyone's familiar with Palos Verdes in San Pedro, LA area, the big landslide and all the houses on it and stuff. The main cause of that is that everybody knew the land was sliding away. They just were able to convince the county to allow them to build houses on it. And now they're blaming the county. Well, why'd you allow us to, give us a permit to build the house? When you knew it was in a landslide area. I'm questioning the same thing here. I don't want, and the people that are applicating this thing is the applicants. I'm not questioning them. 30 years from now, 50 years from now, when sea level does rise, and it is wiping this house out, and they want to do all these drastic measures to save their house, that we permitted them in the first place to build along the coast where their property already is disintegrating and not suffering, but feeling the effects of sea level rise and global warming, and God forbid a tsunami or an earthquake or something happens. It's what I question is,
So if
I have nothing wrong with the house.
I
House
understand.
there, but then sign something that says, you don't you're aware of this, and and in 20 years or 30 years or 50 years, when sea level does rise and it washes the house away, you don't come back and blame the people, well, you let us build there. Do you understand?
Well, yeah, I get what you're saying. If they build there or they don't build there, this is a natural thing that's going to happen, to where if there is a finite time period that this house can stand, if we have these natural causes and that erodes away like crazy, my clients are willing to take their risk and live in that house while they can. And I understand where you're coming from a legal standpoint of, is this something that could come back to bite the county or the whatever? But there's also prescriptive rights that when you own a parcel that's allowed to be developed on, you have the right to build on it as long as you meet the rules and guidelines provided to you in order to do so. So I don't see where a potential fear of litigation against anyone should stop the ability for someone to be able to build a home.
I'm not saying fear of litigation, just sign off on it so that in 50 years, because these folks might sell it. And
Larry,
own
this
it.
is a good question that we can put in our comments back to the
Okay,
planning
that's
department.
fine. That's fine. I'll just so you understand.
No,
I
do.
get it.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
I get it.
It will be a good comment and question for our planning department. Molly, you have your hand up next.
Yeah, so I noticed, the one thing I noticed about the property was just the house is built like one covering the entire frontage of the house of the property. Is that because you couldn't go towards the back? Couldn't go
Yeah,
farther
correct.
towards the back, so you went more wide than.
Yeah, and I mean, we still meet our side setbacks, and
Yeah.
it's not like we're not encroaching on any of the setbacks.
Yeah.
And yeah, because of that wetland setback, this is what we had, where we had to locate it in order to get the size that meets my client's needs.
Yeah, okay, thank you. That's all I had.
Mhm.
Becky, you're next.
Okay, yeah, and I had, questions just about the, I had brought it up before where it says may be adjusted to no less than 50 feet.
Mhm.
And then I don't know if the community realizes that that takes away 25 feet of access along the Baywood Peninsula all the way around. And with sea level rise, the mean high tide line changes. And I don't know if we have, the last I saw was a 2019 mean high tide map, but that's something else that needs to be asked about that. And also, people have seen soil being added to this property since last summer, and native plant removal, and that's just something that I think needs to be addressed.
The mean high tide, yes, we can provide that and revisit that and make sure that is all of our references, and that's part of the biologist package as far as what his entire study will cover. And yes, as far as soils being put onto the property and plants being removed, I don't know about that. All I know is that my client has maintained his vacant parcel. And if there has been substantial amounts of soil brought in, I don't see why, other than if it were just area cover to try and have somewhere to be able to set a chair. Like you said, it's his front yard.
It's right on the edge towards the bay where the Soweto plants were growing and are no longer there. So I don't know, who addresses that, and if a biologist is checking it now, the stuff's gone already. So it's just something I think needs to be addressed.
Okay, I will put that in our comments, Becky.
Hi, I just got a question as to whether or not I wanted to unmute. Yeah, what we did is we actually leveled out the picnic table that we sit on. And that's what we did. And as far as maintenance of the property, we've been keeping up the property for the amount of time that we have it. I'm not sure what they're talking about in regards to plants, but I mean, you're more than welcome to come by and take a look and see what it is. There's nothing that is abnormal or anything that's strange about any of it. We leveled out the area that we sit on.
Right, but
with the-
soil was brought in,
with the-
right?
Yeah, with the picnic table and the chairs that are there.
Right, and then, you know, this plant is a federally listed endangered plant that's been
I-
removed.
And what's her name? Rebecca, I don't know what you're referring to there, so I'm not going to comment, but
Okay, I'm just saying
I
that,
don't, you know,
that
I
has
don't know, I really don't know what you're talking about there because we don't do anything but maintain it so that it's a place that we can go to and sit at and enjoy and appreciate our property. So I don't, you know, I don't have
What
idea what's being referred to there or who's.
Yeah,
referring
what plant is it, if you don't mind?
Yeah,
I mean,
well,
and
wait, can I
if
just
you
say
have
one?
it.
We do have a biologist who's working on this, who knows what's going on there, and they're doing the full biology report. It's in process. It's been in process for a long time, and all of the plants are going to be identified that are there. So
well, right, but they were taken out like last summer. So that's why I'm saying I'm glad you're having a biologist. That's great. But
yeah. I just think I think that's overreach because I'm not really sure what's going on there, but I can talk about the dirt. It just leveled out the place that we've had this picnic table for the last 6 years.
Okay. Any other questions from council? Okay, can I get a motion on this project, please?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to move it to the consent agenda on the next LOCAC meeting.
Can I ask a question before we vote?
Yeah, I'd like to take it off the consent agenda and just put it on the regular agenda.
Well, that's not the motion on the table right now.
It's
I
not the
know,
motion.
I know.
So let's finish the motion. And then,
Well, can I ask a procedural thing before we vote?
sure.
Okay, so, should we go ahead and be voting on this if they haven't, fully ironed out their stuff about their setback of 50 feet versus 75? Or are we just, if we vote to approve it, then we're just moving forward with whatever they work out with the county in terms of the setbacks? The idea?
Yeah, it would be the motion. Yeah, it would be up to the county to decide whether they meet the criteria for the setback of 50 feet.
Yeah,
Yep.
okay.
Okay, do I get a second on Jim's motion?
I'll second it.
Okay. Second, Molly. All in favor of this motion, raise your hand. Okay. Opposed, 1, 2, opposed, 2.
I'd like to make a comment on this. For those of you who are not familiar with the procedural aspect of how we try to do things. We don't have to leave it up to the county to decide. If we look at the community plan and the community plan recommends a 75-foot setback, with the option it could be less, as with the hotel over there, because it was already built less than 75 feet, so that they could do that. But we don't have to go by the county. We could recommend to the county that we want to follow the community plan that we've all worked on and go and keep with the 75-foot background. Then it's up to the county, the planning department, to hear our request, to keep the 75-foot and not allow the 50-foot. That's just
Larry, would it Because you know how we do notes at the end of this and we send it back to the planning department? Would it make you feel more comfortable if I say that we had a discussion on the setback, and could they please review and let us know which direction it can go?
The problem is
Please.
I'd rather send to the county, and I'm doing this to other members of the land use here. I'd rather send the recommendation to the county that we'd like to see the 75 foot.
Okay.
See, I don't feel that same way, Larry. I'm sorry.
I know you
You know,
don't.
I'm not, I mean, the biologists are going to review it, and somebody who's a more expert at this than me will
Exactly.
make that decision.
But
Right.
their biologists are hired by the developer. I'm sorry. They're
We're not
biased.
developers. We're not developers. These aren't developers. These are people trying to build their home
Yeah.
that is across the street. The house that's
And
immediately
they're-
adjacent to this, the house that's immediately adjacent to this is at least 25 feet in front of where ours is.
Right, but it's
Like,
really old, like the
and I
hotel is
understand that.
really old. And the
Yes,
community
and I understand.
plan, like Larry
Historically,
said, the community plan, you know,
Has a-
they
has
wanted
a
a
clear-
70, they wanted a 75 foot, and it may be, and we're talking, you know, this is a precedence, I guess, because this is a new building. And we haven't had new buildings along the bay since the community plan was passed. And so I agree with Larry on that. You know,
So,
yeah,
so what
needs
I'm gonna
looked
do
at.
is include that in our notes back to the county, that 2 council members have concern. It did pass 5-2. And 2 council members have concerns about the 50 versus 75 that has not been concluded at this time. So until the county rules on this, which could be a long time from now, it has passed. It's passed 5-2. So we're gonna make sure we have all of these comments. They're gonna go to the planning department, and they will take it from there, since we are just an advisory group.
Okay, and Trish, could I ask a question on
Yeah.
that? When you say the county, I mean, is that just planning department? Does that go before?
This goes to the planning department, but it goes to the project manager. The project manager does work with all of these other elements that will be looking at the biologist report, will be working with our community plan. You'll be going to Mason, who is our new rep for this area. So
Yeah.
when I send it to one, it goes to Mason, it goes to the project manager of the project,
Uh-huh.
you know, so it goes to at least 4 people. And then we will have the concerns at our LOCAC meeting, you know, at the end of this month. The concerns that we brought up today will be brought up when this is heard. But I still think it can go on the consent,
Right.
and we
So
can,
when you say is heard, you mean just Mason is looking at it and they're looking at it. It's not like it's being heard with other public input on this, right? There's not a,
Yeah, it's not,
that's
there's no
correct.
other public, yeah, it's
No,
just our
because it's-
input. This is our role.
This
And
is,
so we're to comment back.
And
right,
according,
and I don't mean just LOCAC. I mean, if this was something within our community and they want to, you know, people that aren't here want to say something about this thing all the way, not just this lot, but all the way around the bay.
Mhm.
Like, I don't know if people are actually aware that that got put into this as a may,
mhm,
you
it
know,
did,
that
though.
it's, that it says 75 foot and now it says may, and I don't know if people actually know that.
and it also is something that the Coastal Commission, because they approved the community
They
plan,
did.
have a say in it too.
Okay.
well, I
Yeah.
think, I just want to reiterate too, what Jim and Trish have just said, is that we are an advisory council. And we do have to have, even if some people maybe don't trust government officials or whatever, we have to have a level of trust in our county government officials who are professionals of all different kinds. We've got, you know, engineers, planners, all these different people, and they have a lot more training in these issues about even things like setbacks than we do. And we can express our concerns. Claire Momberger, our former rep with the county planning, she told me one time months ago on a different project that I was talking with her about, she said that the planners really do look at the they look at the comments and concerns from the advisory bodies, and they talk about them, and they generally want to address our issues. And it's not like I'm just saying, Becky, like it's not like these notes go to our planner and then he just throws them in the trash. It's not like that. It's like
No, and I wasn't
what we're saying
suggesting that.
becomes part of the discussion and part of the record.
Right. I was just trying to clarify the procedure once the notes leave here, and actually when I heard the word hearing, when they're hearing this or whatever,
Oh, I
what
see what
that
you're
is.
saying.
Is that a
Yeah.
meeting? Is that just
Yeah.
they're at their desks? Is that emails? That's what I was asking.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is a meeting with a bunch of different planners and whoever they need to bring in,
Okay, thank you.
talk about a
And
project.
also too, just because it's on the consent agenda on LOCAC, there's nothing that keeps any member of the LOCAC council from asking to comment on that and pull it from the consent agenda and talk about it. And at that meeting, we'll have planning there and that kind of thing, and they can answer more of the questions. But for me, it was just the plan allows for a 50-foot setback if it meets certain criterias, and I can't say if it meets those criterias or not. And so I have to trust the county's going to make that decision.
Yep, I agree. Okay. Any other questions, concerns? If not, we have had a motion, it's been approved, and we can move forward to our business items. Thank you guys very much for being here. Sam, thank you for coming tonight. We
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
And the LOCAC meeting is at 6:30, the fourth Thursday of the month.
Excellent. Appreciate it.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
We're not throwing you off, but you don't need to stay.
We'll leave for the boring stuff.
All right, so Larry wanted to talk about pretty much what I'm considering PR about, what's going on with land use right now. And
Can we talk about that if it's not on the agenda already as a business item?
I would think that the business item agenda is just open for anybody.
Just-
We can talk
yeah,
about it. I
that's the
think
way
that's
I've
okay. We're
always
not,
done it,
Okay.
is
This
that
would
I
still
just-
have
Don't
to
want to
come
break
back
any
to
rules.
it would still go back to LOCAC for any kind of
Yeah.
decision.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Larry, what I was hearing is that you just want the community to know that we have started hearing, or we have started seeing projects that have been on the wait list, correct?
Yeah, that's the tip of the iceberg. Yes.
Well, and I have a question about that. So Trish, you were saying something about it could be 3 years, 5 years. I mean, is there a time limit? I mean, there's 300 people on the waiting list. How many of these are we going to hear, and how far out from when we hear it, like, do you know what I mean? Like,
I
Yeah,
do, and
we
you
had that
know,
conversation. Yeah.
yeah, we've had that conversation, and the town hall talked about that quite a bit too, for those of us that went to the town hall. And
well, I did go to the meeting and I stayed till the end.
yeah, so they've released like 25 numbers right now. So
Right.
the 20, 1 through 25 who've been on the waiting list. If
Okay.
those 25 are ready,
Right.
and they have their will serve letter, they have their water credits, they have their plans, then those 25, yes, we can probably see this year.
Right, and that's fine. I just wanted to make sure it wasn't past that number. Like, is it farther down the list, or?
And just like we had for Trisha Knight, she is number 25. So she doesn't get to build until the first 25 have a chance to put their stuff through. They have a tight timeline that they can do that. If, let's say, 4 of them can't do it, then Trisha Knight might be able to do it early 2026 because
Well,
she's
and you're-
ready.
Right, you're saying that because you're saying there's 25, but what is it? they're not doing a full 1%, they're
No.
doing a
No.
what, a 0.4.
0.4.
ramp.
So
Point four.
well, right, so it's not going to be 25
No.
houses. I'm
No.
just wondering how far ahead are we doing this? Because a lot of people are trying to line up all these credits and things ahead of
Yeah.
time for way down the line. And does that make sense?
That
what
was
I'm
our,
trying to say?
yeah, that was our question, Rebecca, when we talked to
Was it with,
Mason was, and the thing was that
At the general
because
meeting.
people are wanting to get their permits ready to go. So if for some
Right.
reason the person ahead of them isn't ready to go, they're ready to go. And so we could
Yep.
be seeing stuff that's going to be 3-4 years out. And my question was, is that valuable to evaluate it now when it's not going to be built for 4 more years? And they didn't have an answer because they don't really see another way around it, because the people have a right to go through
Right.
the process.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, and so part of the process is getting signed off by LOCAC too, or has to go to
Right.
LOCAC. So
Right.
that's
And-
what we're up against.
And someone mentioned in the general meeting, and I would recommend or recommending watching it. Claire did a presentation
Mhm.
on how this program works. I highly, highly recommend, if you have not
Yeah.
watched
Well,
that
I've heard-
presentation, you do it.
Yeah.
Right. I've heard her
Because-
presentation 2 or 3 times.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
It's
There's a,
just
there's
that-
a there's a roll off at the end, and so some of these people are trying to get in early so that they can try and snipe one of the seats.
Right. No, I
Mhm.
understand that. I was just wondering how many years in advance are we doing that? And if people get their permits, if their permits are ready to go, but they want to wait 3 years or something, that means then what happens then?
I don't
They're
know that
bumped.
they would be able to do that.
Yeah, you
well,
gotta
that was,
go when
yeah,
you
that
go.
was
They're
a question.
bumped.
Yeah, you gotta go when you gotta go.
Yeah, they
Okay.
lose the
Once
seat.
they issue a building permit, you're on a time scale then on a timetable of, once a permit's issued, you have a certain amount of time to complete the project
Right.
and to, get inspections and all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
So, yeah, I don't think
they-
you would be able to yourself just say, well, I'm all approved, but I'm gonna wait 3 years. I don't think that would work.
No.
Well, we've had like, the hotel in Baywood with the 16 rooms. It had been issued 15 years ago and they got extensions over and over. Is that something that can apply to these new homes?
I
That
hope
they can
not.
get extensions?
I don't
mean,
think so.
they have to go when their slots, they have to be ready to go and have everything done. Otherwise, they just go back into the queue.
No, we need that said by the county, by
I
the
think it
planning
has been.
department,
It-
and what they're gonna say.
The timeline
not
in
the
that
way
is
we
in
want
Claire's
it.
presentation.
Well,
Not
right,
the
she
way
said
we
the
want it,
timeline,
and
but I
not the
don't
way
think
we're
she
talking
said-
about it.
I'm sorry. I
They
don't think
have
she
to-
said anything about extensions. That's
No,
my
that was
question.
not brought up.
Right. So I think that needs to be clarified.
Okay.
Thank you.
The new person who took over for Claire at planning, who was in charge
Mason.
of the credits and
Right.
the issuances and that kind of stuff, is willing to come speak with us to the land
Mhm.
use committee. I thought that
Yeah.
would be a good use of a meeting and
Yeah.
not put anything on
Yeah,
for review
yeah.
and just have them come and we can
Yeah.
get all these things answered, because it's confusing and there's a lot of unanswered questions. And
Right.
it's a new project and they're trying to figure it out as they go along as well.
Right.
So,
I understand that.
but we could get it right from the horse's mouth, which I think would be the best thing.
Yeah.
I
Right.
agree.
And I think too, going over this setback with them too would be beneficial.
Sure.
So that we're really clear on, what the criteria or, yeah. Do they ever say no? That sort of thing.
Okay. Anything else?
Yeah,
If not,
I have a
we-
comment.
Gary?
Yeah, to Larry's point, we need more outreach. He brought up the same thing at the general LOCAC meeting. I am meeting with David Cheney, who has volunteered to do some of this stuff. We do have
Hey.
email accounts and website accounts, but it's the one thing we're lacking right now is content. I put whatever Deborah or Trish says to put up on the website, but it's not much. And that's the bottom line. We need if we want to have outreach, we need to know what you want put out and when. That's the problem. There's no
Yeah,
content.
We have tried to get an outreach committee over the last 8 years, and it works for a little bit, and then
Right, because
It's
of the
just
pain in
too-
the neck.
it's just too much work for
Well, and
volunteers.
some people have volunteered and then not been taken up on it. So, I mean, because
Okay.
we need to put things on Nextdoor and on Facebook on Los Osos or support Los Osos. That's where the eyes are. They're
Okay.
not on the website, and people aren't even going. I don't know. Do you have a tracker to see how many people go to the website and check?
I really don't know. I inherited this job,
Right.
email
Thank you,
accounts,
Gary.
and I was kind of, that's
Gary,
all I know about it, but it's definitely underused. And I've been through this before with the community center.
Yeah.
We don't have anything to put out. We need to generate press releases and get some articles in the paper.
Right. Right.
And the other thing I had a question about is about how are these projects being affected by the HCP?
Well, nothing can start until they have gathered the land that they need to fund the.
That's what I thought.
But they're
So-
actively working on making that happen, right? The county
Right.
staff. Yeah.
Is
They are.
there any, I haven't heard anything about an ETA on that because that pushes all of these projects back.
It does, and there is no ETA at this time.
I mean, I may not be alive to see some of these things get off the ground.
Yeah.
Well, and there's
Well,
not
that's part of the whole thing, right? Is we're approving things that may never be built or be built long before after we're gone. So
It's gonna be irritating our grandkids.
Yeah.
My grandkids aren't going to live up here, so it's okay.
I don't think any of them can afford to.
All right. I think
Just-
we are done. Any other?
Oh, Larry had one.
just to finish it off, Gary, it was like, to me, these are the first two housing projects we've had that I know of since I've been here. We've built a lot of houses outside the sewer zone, and that this to me is the big thing. These are the first two people that have stepped up to the plate,
Yep.
and are, and that should be headlines. That should, especially in the Bay News.
Yeah.
I don't want it KSBY news. They're asking me all the time, for gossip and what's going on. It's not gossip. It's what's out there.
Well, there's been a number of large guest houses built too, so it's not just. I mean, these are the first full-on houses within the prohibition zone.
Yeah, that should be news or stuff for us to put out there. Gosh, I don't. There's things. How come the Tesla battery charging thing got put in without? I didn't know anything about it.
It did not come to LOCAC or to land use.
And I think we need to let we don't need to, but we should let the county know that any projects built in Los Osos should at least come to LOCAC.
Yeah, we have told them that multiple times, and
And
we
they-
will
they
put it
say
under
out-
our comments again to ask them that.
Outside our jurisdiction,
Right.
Well, I'm sorry, because I've talked to the Coastal Commission, and they have said all of Los Osos is in the coastal zone, where technically it's supposed to be the first main street from the water, but the
Right.
Coastal
Right,
Commission,
but that's
no,
the-
all of Los Osos
It is.
and so that any project, anything, they give us silly things like the game room they wanted to put in next to Ralph's,
Mhm.
the computer game
Right.
room thing.
Uh-huh.
They sent that to us. The wine bar.
Mhm.
Right.
One of them they sent to us. The other one I just read on Facebook or next door that there's
Right.
two new wine bars were opening up in
Baywood.
Baywood. You know, how come we only got one?
And,
Is the other one next to Noe's?
Yeah,
I don't know where the other
yes,
one
it is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was with you too, Larry. I'm like, why didn't they send that to us? You
or
know,
or
I
the
mean,
pottery place now that's on Second Street. That didn't come to
so
us.
Yeah.
those are good questions we should be asking Mason when
Right.
we at our LOCAC meeting.
Yeah.
And that, but I thought exactly the same thing, Larry. Why didn't that come to us? You know,
Yeah. You know what else
because it's
too
the exact same issue.
are like street lights that went in. It's like, oh, now there's some street lights, and oh, a bunch of stuff got undergrounded. And I mean, there was nothing in a paper or anywhere talking about all of that. So
Right. So, you know, that's we met with John Diodati at Public Works. And so Public Works does not have to bring stuff to us, only planning. So Public Works, unless they're told to take it to us through either by Bruce's office or by planning, it's not coming to us. That's why those things like
Right.
street lights
But-
and
and
it would be
stop signs.
nice. I think
But
that's that would
it's
be
not
a
in our,
Yeah.
it's clearly not in our jurisdiction to
Right.
have
But
them
It
it's
bring
just would
stuff
be
to
a
us.
courtesy from our supervisor to let us
yes. Yes, it should be.
instead of surprise. Like, I'm real happy about what happened on Santa Isabel with the new stop signs and how well they marked it. And, you know, I try to write John Diodati and say, thank you for
Yeah.
doing it. But they just show up and you don't know they're going to happen. So
Okay.
that might, you know, that's something we can address to Bruce. Is he going to be here at our next meeting?
I don't know. Don't know.
At the community, at the LOCAC meeting.
Yeah. Yeah. Full LOCAC.
Yeah. But
I don't know.
if they want us to be relevant, and I want it to be relevant, again, they don't have to listen to our advice. You know, we're just advisory, but
Right.
they should hear it. You know,
Right. And
Yeah.
then we can get it out there to people if we-
yeah. So we can inform our community of what's going on here.
yeah.
Okay.
But yeah,
And so again, I questioned it to LOCAC. There is money there. You guys, you know, there's money there to rent a room so we can have public meetings. Nobody seems interested in that.
I am.
So then, well, okay, but so then there's that money. They could hire somebody to run, you know, the social media thing for us, so that Gary is not stuck with it, and he has to find somebody that you know, like me, that used to run the website.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm not. That's not my career. That's not. I do it because we needed it.
Right.
You know, somebody had to do it, and so I stepped up to the plate and did it.
Okay.
Yeah. Good points, Larry, and all.
All right.
Well, I know, back to your thing though, on the outreach, though, you know, John Lint, he's on LOCAC, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And he was the one that did the article for the Tribune on the wine bars coming and that kind of stuff. So
That's right.
why couldn't he do an article on, you know, the first two houses have come, you know, are coming before LOCAC for approval? I mean, we could ask him. I mean, he's already got that connection.
Yeah, he does. So we will put out, I will put out a text to him tomorrow and ask him if he could do that for us.
Great. Thank you.
Mhm. All right. Anything else? All right. If not, we are adjourned at 7:29.
All right.
Thank you. Bye,
Thank you,
everybody.
guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Everyone.
I